Hi, my name is Meredith, and I will be your student occupational therapy assistant. And today we will be administering a standardized test called the Kels, which stands for the Coleman Evaluation of Living Skills. This test is used to determine your strengths and level of function with basic living skills such as cognition, ADLs, and communication. I have a form here, a score sheet that I will be writing on as we go throughout the process. This is a 3-page Kels score sheet. I don't know if you can see that. I'll get a little bit closer to the screen here. And we will start with the first category, which is reading and writing. There would be a form that I would give to you to fill out with a pen or a pencil, and I would instruct you to read the form and observe whether or not you can comprehend what the form was asking you to do, as well as whether or not you could write legibly. The next category that we would be administering for the Kels would be for self-care. This would be self-reported by you, the client. And on the bottom portion of that reading and writing form that we were just talking about, you would write down your frequency of hygiene activities. How often did you take a shower? Did you wash your hair? Do you brush your teeth, for example? And then I would make notes on the client's appearance. There is a line here at the top for that. And I would write that on the score sheet. The next category would be for safety and health. And this category, I would show the client a series of photos of dangerous household situations. I would then ask the client to identify what in the photograph was dangerous to see what their level of safety awareness was. The next step in the safety and health category, I would ask the client to identify the appropriate actions they needed to take in the case of an accident or an emergency. Would the client know to ask a neighbor for help or someone standing close to them if they were in a public situation, or to call 911? Is that something they would be able to do independently? The third area of concern under safety and health would be whether or not the client was able to identify and have knowledge of local medical and dental facilities should they be in the need of one. Would they know how to call to set up an appointment? Would they know where these facilities were located? Would they know the name of their family doctor, for example? And we would note on the form whether they knew how to do these things independently or they needed assistance with that. And again, we would record that on the sheet here in front of us. The next category would be for money management, and we would ask the client to purchase an item. The first item might be a toothbrush, for example, and we would give them some dollars and some change and ask them after they handed me money to pay for the item and I gave them their change, if I had given them the correct change back. And then I might repeat that activity with a different object. This time it might be a deck of cards, for example, and they would have to know whether I had given them, again, the right amount of change, and they knew how to give me the right amount and the exact number of coins and bills to give me the exact amount without me having to make change. So we would be able to know how to do both. The next in the money management category would be paying bills. Does the client know how to take a bill that they've received in the mail, for utilities, for example, and be able to go online, log onto a computer, use a computer or a smartphone or a tablet to pay the bill online? Do they know how to do that? Or do they know how to write a check and stick it in an envelope and address it and send it to the appropriate vendor for payment? And then the third item in the money management category would be, does the client know how to obtain and maintain a source of income? Are they retired and maintain financial accounts and be able to manage those appropriately? Do they still have a job? Are they employed? If they wanted to go back to work, or after an injury or an illness, or after maybe being out of work for a while, would they know how to go about applying for a job, interviewing, and taking the steps to be able to maintain and obtain some type of income? And we would use this score sheet again to record that. The next category would be community mobility and the use of a telephone. We would ask the client if they were able to get around in the community independently. This would be, besides just walking or using a walker or a scooter to get from point A to B? Could they actually go somewhere like the grocery store, for example, independently without having to borrow someone's car or take public transportation? Maybe they would. Do they know how to call a cab or call Uber? Do they know how to do things like that in order to be able to get themselves around in the community? And then the next question in line with that would be, do they have a knowledge of the public transit system? Again, can they access a bus route, either online or by picking up a phone and calling somebody? And can they get to the bus stop? Can they call a cab or call Uber like we were just talking about? And then third, can they use the phone? And one of the examples, we would maybe have them call, like we did in another Saturn test, we would have them call a local store and ask for information, or we would have them call the pre-recorded line to check the weather, like just to see if they're able to actually dial the number and use a phone. And again, we would record that here on our score sheet. And then our last category is for employment and leisure participation. This is plans for future employment. We first need to determine the client's employment status, and then what their plans are for returning to work. Like what are the next steps you plan on taking? Also, we would be asking them in this category about leisure participation. What do you do in your free time? Do you do these items or these tasks alone or with other people? We would ask that they list a minimum of 3 leisure activities they've done in the last month. And that would complete the first sheet here of our Kels scoring. And that would be done, of course, through a combination of interviews and observations by the OTA or an OT. The next page would be for areas of concern, and this is where we would list our observations, of course, regarding cognition and reading and writing. And then our next step here would be to note any assistance routinely provided to complete the basic task of daily living. Were there things we had to help them with or remind them of, perhaps, and any additional notes that we had. And then in summary, the way we would score this is to basically state whether or not we think this person has the ability to live alone or would need assistance. And we would choose one of these 4 boxes. The first one says appears to have adequate knowledge and basic skills to live alone. The second one says appears to be able to be safe and meet basic needs living alone, but they need the following assistance provided during the course of a week or a month, which might be with ADLs or safety awareness or using the internet or making video calls or phone calls, that type of thing. And then to continue, on the next page, perhaps the person would need regular in-person visits, checks to be made. Maybe somebody needs to come in from home health to check on them. Maybe somebody needs to help them manage their money and make sure their bills get paid on time, or to make sure they have appropriate transportation provided so they can get to doctor's appointments, hair appointments, dental appointments, things like that. And then the next category is able to live alone with the following assistance provided throughout the day. So we've moved from needing assistance once a week or once a month to needing it every single day with those same categories: safety awareness, ADLs, transportation, those types of things. And then the other category would be that we think this person, based on our observations and interview today, would need assistance 24/7 to be able to be safe and meet their basic needs. And then last but not least, the last section here asks for our recommendations regarding their living situation. Do we recommend that they live alone? I mean, are they okay with everything? Like, we don't see a need for additional assistance or why they can't be independent. Do they need somebody to come in every day? Do they need to be perhaps move to an assisted living facility, or do they need a skilled nursing facility? What is our recommendation for this person based on our observations and interviews from our standardized test today? So this concludes the test for today. I appreciate your participation. And if you have any questions, again, my name is Meredith, and feel free to reach out. Thank you.